Hill just yesterday. A Senate showdown over President Trump's authority to use military force in Iran ended with a victory for the White House. In its final vote before leaving Washington for a two-week recess, the Senate rejected a Democratic-led effort to limit President Trump's war powers as the U.S. and Iran continue negotiations on a longer-term peace agreement. Now, that vote marked a reversal from just weeks ago when a similar resolution unexpectedly passed the Senate. After meetings with key Republican holdouts, the administration secured enough support to defeat the measure, with President Trump arguing that restricting his authority would weaken America's position at the negotiating table with Iran.
The 2,300 days have passed. Nothing blew up. Okay, now we know that the Iran defeat lies on the other side. Okay, now we have these questions answered. So don't be disappointed, because they did the same thing back on April 8th. I was warning about that. Nothing blew up, and everybody just quietly disappeared because they didn't understand it. Yeah, it reminds me, he told them back then, he says, an evil and an adulterous generation seeks after a sign. I'll give you no sign but the sign of Jonah. Well, it's the same thing on April 8th. Nothing blew up. They didn't get the sign they wanted. They wanted a sign to prove that April 8th was, a biblical day. And it is. But nothing happened. But they didn't pay attention to the after effects. Now, I looked it up, and I guess I was wrong. It wasn't 3 days after April 8th. It was like 4.5 to 5 days based on what time zone we're in. But close, about a day off. With the April 8th eclipse, the first time ever, Iran shot True Promise 1, not proxies. That was the first time they did it. Okay, they downed the missiles. Okay. But that's when it started, with the first of 2 eclipses. That was just them, flexing a little bit of muscle. With this March 2nd eclipse, it's the all-out war. Okay, we have that. That's the pattern. Ever since then, we've been seeing this unfold. So it took over 2 years to reach the point we're at now. So technically, with April 8th, it did begin. Small, but it increased. So that begs the question, when and what's going to happen now? Well, I've been saying it, and the Bible says it, it's got to finish up. The first horn has been smashed, and the second one, the higher one, came up last. After the Khomeini and his regime and all of them taken out. Sure enough, now there's the new Ayatollah. That horn has to be smashed. And just, I believe it's the 24th, he got his war powers back. Well, right on time. They are going to war. Daniel 8 says so. They're going to fall. For all these people who are making their guesses and comments without the Bible, are going to have error. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the television set or in the news. It only matters what this says. He says they will fall. He's going to smash the horn. And that is where we're heading. And they're already, they're tit for tat right now. They're shooting back again. MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. Yeah, that's all a bunch of garbage. I looked it up. It's not even a treaty. It's just writing notes to each other. Like passing notes in class. Peace, peace, and there should be none. That's exactly what we're seeing. They're going to finish the job. And as soon as we defeat them, it says in Daniel 8, they're going to magnify themselves exceedingly, and then the horn's broken. So, from what I see, Iran, if they're going down, we're going down with them. That type of attitude. So, they're going to get us back. The regime's going to be toppled. But they got their winnowers, Jeremiah 51. The terrorist sleeper cells are over here, and whatever other damage they're going to do. what I want to bring up, and I hate to rehash over and over, but so that you're not discouraged and you know it's still going to happen, because it is. Let's take a look at what I've shown real quick. Now this is Jeremiah chapters 49 and 50, and he's mentioned all three, and he also mentions Damascus, the surroundings, because they're going to be involved as well. Don't know how yet, but they will. Edom here is counterfeit Israel. Verse 17, and Edom shall be a desolation, everyone that go byeth it shall be astonished and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. That's counterfeit Israel. Now notice this. The end of chapter 50 when it's talking about America, the Babylon. See, it goes hand in hand. Israel and the U.S. are basically just the same thing. This is talking about America now. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. Both are going to fall, Israel over there and over here. And sandwiched in between is Iran, Elam. I wanted you to see that first. And it's talking about the war that's going on right now. But notice what he says here. Oh, I want to bring this up too. We all got disappointed because they had their Sodom and Gomorrah festival and he didn't do anything. I got to thinking about this, and I just wanted to bring this up. Okay. I just wanted to bring this up. Dealing with and Israel over there. The next verse. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighboring cities thereof, saith the Elohim, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Why, at the time of this Iran war, when he's going to break the bow of Elam, is he mentioned in Sodom and Gomorrah? Except that he knew that he was going to have that gay pride festival over there. Thought I would bring that up. I'm going to try to keep this short. But there's a reason why dealing with counterfeit Israel in this chapter and America the Babylon in chapter 50, he's saying the same things twice. And I pondered this for the longest time. Why did he repeat the same thing? Well, this next verse, behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong. The strong is Iran, the head of the snake, right? But he says this exact same word here, Jeremiah 50:44, all of it. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. It means at the time of the year that the Jordan River swells is when this takes effect. It did happen last year because it was in June, but it had the name Rising Lion. Now we got Roaring Lion. But he mentions it for Israel and America. So why repeat it for each one? It's because U.S. and Israel works hand in hand. He was saying the Edomites and the Babylon of the last days at the same time of a rising lion would be hand in hand together to attack Iran, and that's proof. And by the way, this is proof because of this that America is Babylon, and it also proves that Jeremiah 50 is not for Babylon of old, for those out there who still don't want to believe it. It serves as evidence. He mentions it for both. But because this unique war did start right at the time, I looked online, is it basically, give or take, from the 1st of March to the end of April, and it happened right smack at that time of the year with America and Babylon, America, Israel and Babylon, America at the same time. This cannot be overlooked. That's why I say this has to be it, unless we gotta wait till next March to finish it up. I hope not. But so far, that's what seems to turn up here. Just so that you don't get downtrodden and disappointed. I'm not disappointed. I know it's going to happen. And you probably like me, these major earthquakes we've been having starting on the 24th. Yeah, Yeah, the 24th, 3 major earthquakes. Northern California, way over here, Japan, and in the other direction, Venezuela. That's 3 spots far away from each other. Many people think this is a sign. I agree. Ring of fire. I don't know if Venezuela's in the ring of fire, but are we given a signal here that something is brewing that he can see we can't? So that too, at this time of year, at the time that this war is going to flare up and it's going to finish off. They're going to be finished. That second horn has to be broken. So rejoice. It's still in progress. Just didn't happen on the other side. But now, as of today, June 27th, we overcame the mark. We didn't take it. And we overcame all those that says, it ain't the mark. You had to overcome all of that. All the criticism and, no, and on and on. I've been forwards and backwards over and over. We overcame those years. Today is the first day of a new time cycle. That the 1290 days on September 22nd, 2023, nothing blew up. But because of that count, I showed you, we run into April 8th and March 2nd eclipse of this year, which all backs up perfectly to the first day of the lockdowns. There's no way to get all that to hit, but nothing blew up all those days. But yet the counts is what we're looking at, not whether we got a sign like we wanted to happen on that day. Best I can do. We can make our guesses, but we're close. I'm not disappointed at all. I wanted it to just happen, but it didn't happen the way I wanted. But things are happening, and nonetheless, the Iran war did start right as the 2300 days was about 4 months before, almost 4 months before it ended. Just like marching around Jericho. It's a spiritual thing. It's telling us we're getting closer and closer. From his point of view, it's like he's giving a testimony, which is the biggest reason of my next documentary. It's taken a lot longer than what I expected, because there's trying to put it into the right words. That's hard to do on this one. So now we're in the time period when the cleansing of the sanctuary can begin. However, he's going to do that. But this next documentary is the #1 issue, combined into 3 parts, of the sanctuary being cleansed, because his people are not going to be cleansed until we get these 3 precepts. It's like one thing, but split into 3 parts, if you will. That is the cleansing. And once we get this down, Satan and his entire kingdom of darkness has had it. And he knows it. And he's been hiding and pulling off his little tactics our whole lives, because he's been persecuting us, like what he did to Job. Be bringing up a lot about that guy and comparing it to you and me. The overcomers all go through our trials. Like Paul said, your sons, if you are not chastised, you are bastards, meaning you're counterfeit sons. He chastises those whom he loves to bring us into compliance. We've all been going through that, each to our own degree, you know. But that's called the works of the cross. So we're nearing our end. At some point it's going to begin. I can't give you the day. I would love to. I know we're close, because we're in the middle of Daniel 8 prophecy taking place, and most are still rejecting it. It's because it's not happening the way they thought. There's a lot of things happening the way I didn't think, and I just have to accept it. But that's the difference between us and them. Will you accept the way it pans out? I've noticed that with Daniel, especially, the angel says sealed up to the time of the end, because it couldn't explain to Daniel anyway what he's talking about. Well, it makes sense. We're understanding Daniel as it's taking place. Couldn't have understood the place of his sanctuary was cast down until it actually happened. We had to see it take place. It's just the way it is. As at the end, as it's happening, then you get it. That's why all these decades we couldn't get it. We were just guessing. But now that we see it's taking place right now it makes sense. And, you know, it makes me wonder, because he says in Daniel, this king of fierce countenance, for a closeout, he says it's not by his own power, not by his own power. That's one example of we can't figure it out till it happens. It makes me wonder if that's pointing at they just gave him his war powers back, because it's the same chapter Iran falls. Makes me wonder if, because they said no, they voted him out, remember? Weeks ago, they voted him out. No, now just on the 24th, they gave him his war powers back, not by his own power. Now they gave him the power to go back to war with Iran. I'm wondering if that might be what that means. I thought I would throw that in. I know I'm just rambling on, but it's worth noting. Just giving you encouragement, because this is still going on. It is not over. It's going to finish up. It's going to hit. It has to. I can't see this going to next year unless it's from March this year to March next year. I can't take no more like you. I've had enough. Because that means everything's offset by another year. I don't want that, but I don't know. But I know it's the war, and I know the conclusion of it. So that being said, lift your heads up. Your redemption is drawing nigh. We keep studying, we keep believing, we keep acting in faith, going through the cross, and await the real cleansing that's coming. But we're going to do some of our own cleansing. And this documentary gives us a huge part of it. And let him do the convincing and do the work in us. But, praise Yahweh, and just do the best we can. Anyway, you have a great day. May Yahweh bless you.